My name is Steve Marchand. I'm with Labconco. I'm here to talk about the under-the-counter laboratory glassware washers that you have. It'll be much more effective to do the training in front, but I've got a little in front of the machine itself because there's some things that need to be manipulated. This is a very simple little YouTube video.
Now that your glassware washer is installed, it's time to program it. Start by setting up the washer control. From the control panel, press and hold the down arrow button and close the handle of the washer by sliding the door latch knob to the right. Hold for 5 seconds. The display will show the setup screen. Press the down arrow button and DI Pump Enable will highlight. Press the left or right arrow button to yes or no. This allows the pure water valve and pump to be disabled if pure water will not be used. Press Run to save all settings. After setting up your washer control, it's recommended you run a diagnostic test on the washer. Your user's manual will guide you through this. The test will take approximately 10 minutes to complete. To begin the test, press the up arrow button on the control panel and close the handle of the washer by sliding the door latch knob to the right. Hold for 5 seconds. Once the diagnostics test is complete, you can now select an operating cycle. The control panel allows you to choose from up to 10 factory set and 2 user set programs. It is possible to customize the following program parameters: delay start, wash to temperature, wash to time, steam, total number of rinses, number of purified water rinses, final rinse temperature, dry temperature, and dry time. In addition, when User 2 program is selected, it is possible to set wash one time and rinse time. To program and start a wash cycle, close the washer door and slide the latch to the right. This energizes the electronic control and the display will show the last program that was run. Press Run to select this program. If a different program is desired, press Display. Press the up or down arrow buttons to scroll through the display screen. For this demonstration, we will select Glass. Press the up or down arrow button until the Glass program is indicated by the arrow on the left side. The arrow on the lower right side means that there are additional program selections. For the glass program, the factory set parameters are displayed. To change a parameter, such as wash to temp, highlight it and use the right or left arrow button to change the parameter to the desired temperature. After a program is selected and program parameters have been set, it is possible to lock those parameters into memory. Press the display button once to access your program. Press and hold the display button for 15 seconds. Lock will be displayed next to the program name. As long as the program is locked, only that one program may be selected. The lock option is released by pressing and holding display for 15 seconds. To temporarily pause a wash program, simply unlatch the washer door. Wait a few seconds before opening the door to prevent water from splashing out of the washer. To resume the wash program, close and relatch the washer door. The washer pauses to equalize water and air temperatures. Then the program resumes at the point it was interrupted. To terminate a program at any time, press the Run Cancel button.
Labconco glassware washers provide a safe, economical, and time-saving alternative to hand washing. By doing just 2 loads a day, you'll see the payback period in just 2 years. Labconco offers 3 distinct automatic glassware washers, each designed specifically for laboratory use. The Steam Scrubber laboratory glassware washer cleans beakers and other general-purpose labware. Stainless steel top and bottom racks are included. Inserts for beakers and flasks, DNA sequencing plates, BOD bottles, petri dishes, culture tubes, and small utensils may be combined inside the Steam Scrubber. The Flask Scrubber laboratory glassware washer has a lower spindle rack that thoroughly washes and dries up to 36 pieces of narrow neck glassware. The Vantage washer has added features such as HEPA-filtered forced air drying, automatic liquid detergent dispenser, RS-232 port, and water conductivity monitoring. Racks are interchangeable from spindle to standard in all 3 units. Some of the standard features of the Steam Scrubber, Flask Scrubber, and Vantage include stainless steel construction inside and out for durability. LCD keypad lets you easily customize cycles, monitor water temperature, and cycle progress. Flexible cycle programs that let you choose from up to 10 factory preset and 2 custom design programs. A dry cycle from 0 to 250 minutes is standard on all washers, and a HEPA filter on the Vantage to remove airborne particulates. A dry-only cycle is also available. Up to 6 rinses, either tap or pure water, per program ensures water-soluble contaminants are introduced. A purified water pump is standard and allows the use of non-pressurized pure water. A steam generator produces hot water vapor to penetrate dried residue so detergent and hot water can clean effectively. A gasketed dispenser holds dry or liquid detergent. The Flask Scrubber Vantage also includes a liquid detergent dispenser with peristaltic pump and neutralizing acid rinse dispenser for hands-free dispensing. Built-in options are offered on selected models. These include high heat programs on 230-volt models reach 199 degrees Fahrenheit to sanitize glassware and effectively remove lipids, tars, and waxes. A viewing window with an interior light to let you see cycles in progress. This feature comes standard on the Flask Scrubber Vantage series and is optional in the Steam Scrubber and Flask Scrubber models. The Steam Scrubber and Flask Scrubber come in under-counter and freestanding models. The Flask Scrubber Vantage is a freestanding model that may be easily converted to under-counter. A mobile kit is available on freestanding models. The accessory base stand has an interior compartment for storage of detergents, racks, and inserts. The stand elevates freestanding and mobile washer models for more comfortable loading and unloading. The Scrubbermate glassware and rack cart provides convenient storage and transport of extra Labconco washer racks, inserts, and other miscellaneous glassware. Labconco offers the Lab Solutions line of detergents and neutralizing solution specially formulated for all Labconco washers. The Steam Scrubber, Flask Scrubber, and Flask Scrubber Vantage series come equipped with different rack configurations. The Steam Scrubber comes with standard upper and lower racks. The upper rack may be easily removed to facilitate loading the rack outside the washer or to allow very tall glassware to be loaded and washed on the lower rack. To remove the upper rack, slide it all the way out of the washer. Grasp each side of the rack, placing thumbs on the two release buttons. Press the buttons and lift the rack straight upward. The Steam Scrubber is designed to accommodate a variety of accessory inserts. Except for the smaller utensil basket, a maximum of 2 inserts fit in each rack. Most inserts fit into the top and bottom racks. 2 rows of rollers allow placement of the upper rack in 2 positions to accommodate various glassware heights. To replace the upper rack after loading, first slide each rail all the way out. Position the rack on the rails. Press down and the latch will automatically engage the rails. The Flask Scrubber and Flask Scrubber Vantage series washers include a 36 spindle lower rack and 18 glassware holders. Place narrow neck glassware over the spindles using the height adjustment clips. Raise the glassware so that the spindle is centered within it, not touching it. Use the glassware holders to keep Erlenmeyer's, small beakers, or BOD bottles positioned over the spindles. The accessory 48-pin insert occupies approximately 1/2 of the spindle rack. The insert may be placed directly over the rack with or without the spindles in place. Several accessory inserts are available for use in the rack and require removing some of the spindles. To remove a large spindle, use the tool included and insert a screwdriver into the slot on the top of the spindle, turning counterclockwise. Cap the hole with a nylon plug. Extra spindles, plugs, and clips are supplied with your washer. The accessory pipette inserts clean pipettes inside and out. The round insert holds 8 pipettes, 1 to 10 milliliters in size. To install it, remove one of the spindles and replace it with the short mounting spindle included with the pipette insert. Place the insert over the spindle and load with pipettes. The long pipette insert holds 16 pipettes, 1 to 100 milliliters in size. It includes 6 short mounting spindles. Remove 6 spindles on the rack and replace with the short mounting spindles. The accessory upper spindle rack or standard rack expands the washer's capacity to handle additional glassware. To use the upper rack on the Flask Scrubber and Flask Scrubber Vantage series requires installation of the upper rails. Consult your user's manual for installation instructions. Complete information on testing, maintenance, and troubleshooting for your washer can be found in the user's manual. A brief video on programming your Labconco washer is available on Labconco's website at labconco.com and on YouTube at youtube.com/Labconco Corporation. Labconco is a member of the U.S. Green Building Council. The primary tool used by the building industry to create sustainable building is the LEED rating system, which was developed by the USGBC. Visit our website for more information on Labconco's green initiatives and how Labconco glassware washers can earn you LEED credit.
When we go over and actually get in front of the machine, you'll see it's a lot easier to operate the machine. So I think that's probably the best way to proceed. So you can actually touch the buttons and break it.
So all the dishwashers are installed now, right?
Pardon me?
All the dishwashers are installed now, right?
I went through and did, in the beginning, we ran through a diagnostic, so I ran through the diagnostics, and then I ran through the setup program. If something didn't take, or if the plumber's got to come back and disconnect something, the electricity fails or something, it's easy to run the setup program. It's just hold it. Why don't we just do that in front of the machine? So these are you mentioned earlier the washer rack. This tube on the bottom actually extends into an orifice back there. And we can shoot hot water in. We can also shoot air in to dry it. These spindles are removable. There's a key in here. And it can be simply done with a screwdriver. And these can be screwed in and screwed out. There's also offsets, butterfly clamps to keep the glassware from bottoming out. So this simply fits over the top of this unit here. You can modify this. We can put shorter spindles in. These are called spindles. You put shorter spindles in, or you can block the hole altogether. And there are nylon stops that plug those holes as you do that sort of thing. These are tulip bulbs. So if you got these guys are really made for smaller form glassware. But if you've got a beaker or an Erlenmeyer flask, you need a standoff. This will rise up and down. This is just a pinch clamp on it. This rack can be, it's easily pulled out and reinserted. You can move it back in. This will automatic. I checked this all out. You can see there's water in here because I ran through the diagnostics and the setup on this earlier. But it will simply take the detergent in here. If you choose to do an acid rinse, it's a simple pull this in here. This phosphoric acid solution is readily available. There were samples all over the other labs. I don't know why they're not in here. Oh. Now that's one of the options on this that I had to set up. It's got an automatic liquid detergent dispense set up in the machine. So that's what that soap container is. And when we boot this, when we engage the electronics, it'll show you that it's on a set program, but it'll also give you an alarm that there's no soap in this container. And I can verify there's no soap in that container. So that's the alarm we're going to get. So you shouldn't be alarmed at the alarm. For some reason, they didn't buy you an upper spindle rack. But this washer comes, so you can wash, comes with a light and a window. So it's part of the specifying process. On this, to engage the electronics, and prefer that you do this, simply close the door and latch it. It always defaults to the last program run. So this is telling me a rinse-only cycle. If you hit the display, there's 10 options. It's only going to take, those 10 options will present about 99% of what you're ever going to wash. But if I hit the display again, it shows me all the options available to me. To get those specific options, we just scroll down. And hit run. And you're done. You need to insert, obviously, put your soap in first. What they demonstrated in the video, in the factory video, is if you go to these programs and you've selected whatever I've selected here, you press it, it tells you what the parameters are. It tells you the number of wash cycles, how long it's going to wash, how hot the temperature is, how many rinses. These are all connected to, these are all plumbed for DI rinses, and it'll take up to 6 DI rinses. You just need to tell it in this program if you want to do 6. That's a lot of DI water, by the way. But that's it. To run the unit, just turn it on. And it's running on glass now. It'll run through that cycle, and it tells us when we went in and look at on the display of the program what the parameters were. So on here, it'll give us a total run time on that. That's really it. If you're in the middle of a cycle and you need to stop it, what he talks about is disengage. You just hit run cancel, or you just want to interrupt it. You just go. Now the water gets really hot in here, up to about 180 degrees. So he says, so it doesn't splash. You don't want to scald yourself either. So when you break the electronics and release this, you release the steam and stand away from it. That's about all there is to know about this laboratory glassware washer. The spindle rack is very easy. The upper spindle rack, it's adjustable. It's 2 positions when you get them installed. It's really, there's 4 acorn nuts inside here to do that installation. You can place it at either of these 2 positions, and the rack will come with a plate on the side that bolts to those.
Are those the same specs as the older washes? Because I have one that's about 8, 9 years old.
No, we changed the interior dimensions about 4 years ago. That's why you'll see the electronics is all different on this. You've used these before, they're very straightforward. Is there any question on operation?
So does it mention in the, I'm guessing the instructions or somewhere, what all of the settings are? Because like it mentions glass and glass plus.
Glass
and
plus
science
is just,
and science plus.
right.
So what? is the difference?
Well, it's really temperature and time.
Okay.
So on Glass Plus, there's a steam cycle in here, so it will generate more steam to free up residues inside the glassware.
Okay.
So it's a longer process. And you can go in and change those if it's not working for you in the setup menu that we went through in the beginning. Just tell it, okay, I want it to wash 10 minutes longer, and you'll do that.
Okay.
What's the warranty on those?
2 years. Simple way to do this is engage the door. Press the down arrow for 5 seconds. So you can see here it'll have DI pump enable, says yes, simply scroll down, pump over, and it changes to no. And you hit run and it saves it. But we believe this one is DI enabled.
Okay. Can you start over, do that again?
Sure, it'll be simple.
Just in case.
I'm not gonna be here, because I've got around. So close the door,
Okay.
close the latch, press this down for 5 seconds. This is just the basic setup of the unit. So what you'll see is the temperature ranges, all of this. And here on this particular one, I've got a DI pump. It's right in this instruction. DI pump. Scroll down to it, enable. I go left or right to enable or disable it.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
Push run to stop, and it's set.
Hi, I'm Travis Hall with Biomed Engineering. All my contact information, if you need, is here, including my cell phone. I answer the phone if I'm awake, so don't hesitate to call if you have a problem. These machines are really good machines. They're simple, they're basic, but being such, they run and run and run. We don't have a lot of problems with these at all. Very simple interface. The door's manual. Right now, I've aborted a cycle. It says on the screen, user aborted. It prints out on the tape, user aborted cycle. It's waiting for the pressure to come down. It was in a liquid cycle, and so it doesn't just drop the pressure all at once. So if you had anything in there liquid-wise, it'd boil all over and make a mess. So the machine knows liquid cycle come down slow even though we aborted it. The door safety, I have pressure. I cannot unlock this door. If you turn this and you feel it grab, don't keep turning and you'll twist off the locking mechanism inside it. What locks it is there's an internal diaphragm that enough pressure creates and pushes this rod out, and that engages teeth inside there. If by chance you ever have to, under the machine, there's a valve right here, green handled. You hear things happening. This is manually emptying the chamber. So for whatever reason you had to get in here quicker than it needed to be, drain valve didn't work or anything like that, this is your manual chamber drain. So we'll let that sit there for a minute.
Now, does this have a boiler with it? Or?
Yes, this is the steam generator that's underneath it. We'll get with that in a minute. There's some important keys, very important with that. That'll be where all of our maintenance issues come from, most likely. Yep. So you see the door's unlocked now. Our pressure's come down below 3 or 4 pounds. Usually when we get the door unlocked. What they like to have you do is, before you go to unlock the door, is lock it just a little, in case those teeth are bound, engage the lock mechanism, that unlocks it, then open it. If for some reason it doesn't open, you're at 0, lock it just a little, pop that, that'll disengage the teeth if they're bound, and then you can just go ahead and open it.
Are you with Consolidated? Or are you separate?
We're the representatives for service in the area, but
Yeah,
when you need parts or service, for the first year for the warranty, you'll want to call Consolidated directly. Then they'll contact me and I'll come out and do all the work. After that, you can go directly through us and bypass Consolidated, but
can you get parts Will any other parts work, or is it all proprietary, or you have to go through consolidated?
They're generic parts. I'm supposed to tell you, you have to get them through consolidated.
That's what I thought. Makes it a little more expensive.
Yeah, there's list price, and then there's pricing for us. Say it's a $100 valve, we pay 60-something bucks for it. We mark up 25% what our cost is, which is always going to be less than whatever list is, because our 25% markup is less than, the discount they're giving to us.
Now, is as far as this warranty is concerned, that is a 1-year warranty on it? And that's parts, labor, everything?
Yep, so long as this boiler maintenance is done. We'll get to
Okay.
that. On a daily basis, they actually say every cycle, the drain screen, at least check it every once in a while. If that's not clear, then we have no room for the air to get out of the chamber, no way for the steam to go down, and it causes problems. Your cycles will start running real long. So keep an eye on your drain screen. Some places have 2 of them, so they take one out, put the new one in, and clean you up. If you ever get a spill, a boil over, you'll want to clean that up immediately. Obviously, the less time you let it cook, the easier it is to clean. And that's very important. It's a stainless steel chamber. You don't want to use any fluids with chlorides. I'll just read this. No bleach-containing hypochlorite solutions, acids, or seawater. Because it's stainless steel, that will void the warranty if we found out that you've done that. Okay? There's a cleaning solution and pads that come with it. They recommend cleaning once a week or after every spill, as needed. And obviously, you want the machine to last as long as you can. So, operator's manual is right there. I wish there was a place to keep it with the machine, other than maybe on top. Otherwise, one of you 3 will sign for it, and it'll be you when I come looking for what we need.
There's actually going to be a O&M manual
location
that will be provided to the university, and then there will be digital copies transmitted as well.
Great.
So
There's one for each machine. You've got 3 machines. There's some more information. There's some paperwork in the very front of it that is specific to each machine, even though they're all built the exact same, but serial number wise. But that's not going to be a big deal. And I have digital copies too, so it's more for a user when they need it. You want to keep your door gasket clean, because that's what seals, including you see where it imprints. That's your head ring. You want to keep both surfaces clean, wipe them down every once in a while. When you're doing that, you'll begin to notice this gasket will squish, and then it'll start to break, and then you'll keep an eye. You have to get those from Consolidated, but they're not too expensive. If printout, I like to have a printout as a service technician. It allows me to see, what was going on when you had a problem. I can see, hey, it sat for 5 minutes trying to heat up. It's running real slow. It never reached temperature. This also gives you the ability, see it says right here, cycle over. So if someone pressed the button, you have a printout of whatever was in there. The cycle's completed and it's sterile. So, changing the paper is pretty easy. There's a button on the side. Press the button, it folds out.
Is this what, thermal paper?
No, just regular standard paper.
Could you use thermal paper?
No.
also?
Well, if it will if it'll print, I'll show you. See, there's this little section right here. If you push that in, it actually separates. There's an ink ribbon. It's just a standard Epson. I can't remember the number of it. Ink ribbon. So if your thermal paper, you have one side's heat, and if you turn it over, you can usually use the other side to print on if you want. Because I believe this one's thermal.
So that's just like paper you would get for like that they print receipts on and stuff like
exactly.
that.
Again, I like the printouts. Helps me out. A lot of places don't use them because they run out. The steam coming out of the drain's not normal. I gotta see what's doing that. If you see something like that, let me know. Yeah. Making sure I go everything here that they wanted me to.
Now, this won't, you can have the power on, but it won't start until you push the drain.
Right.
Is it a good idea to, before you start out, you have the power on, to empty the boiler a little bit?
Okay. Let's go over that. So when you come in the first thing in the morning and it's turned off, everything's cold. The boiler is connected to this power switch. So in the morning when you come in and you turn this on, it's going to take 20, 30 minutes for the boiler to heat up and the jacket to heat up and to reach pressure. Okay, so again, when you come in the morning, turn the power on, it automatically turns everything on for you. All you have to worry about is that one. Heat up time, warm up time will vary. You know, it's going to be kind of a trial and error. Might be 20 minutes, might be 30, but I would suspect 30 minutes, you'll be ready to go. Your jacket pressure is preset. If you want to run higher than 250 degrees, there's a pressure regulator that needs to be changed. The problem is when you change that pressure regulator to run 270, it affects your 250 degree cycles. Being in the lab, you probably are only going to run 250, that's why they set them up like this. But they're capable of 270 if you have a need to do that. So 30 minutes goes by, your pressure's good. If you want it or are interested, there's a gauge on the boiler down here. That'll run between 40 and 60, that's what I have it set at. So long as you're above 40, good to go. If this has been sitting at 20 for 4 or 5 minutes, if you don't want to worry about opening the bottom panel, you're probably going to be fine down there. Okay? Load your machine, however, whatever you're going to fit in there.
Because I'm used to it turning the other way.
Just whatever you do, leave the bottom rack in. You can pull the two tops out, but the bottom one leave in. They're kind of, now that they're hot, the racks need to come up from the position they're in now. There's 2 latches in the back. So it's all the way in, so you lift the back up, that'll bring those latches out on top of those guides, and then those 2 come out. If you just pull it like that, no matter what you do, they're not going to come out any further. They have to be in the back and then come up and then out.
What about for cleaning purposes? Can you pull the bottom?
Oh yeah, sure. I just if you have you know, if you have the 2 top ones out and you had a bio bag or something and you stuck in there without that bottom rack, your plastic could get sucked down in that drain. You know, you always want to have a space under there.
Is there any problem putting a container in the bottom of that? The one I have over there, I have about this wide.
To catch spills?
To catch spills on the bottom.
Oh yes, I
do
recommend
that all
that.
the time.
If you do that, I would recommend you put a little water in your pan every time. Because hot air rises, cold air sinks, you'll get a layer of cold air at the very bottom of the pan. Right. So you put a little water in there to boil out as it heats up, and it'll force that cold air out. Okay? But yeah, anything to catch spills to help your cleanup.
Can you have it over top of that?
I wouldn't put a bio bag over that drain, but
Well,
a
I just
metal
mean like
container,
something to
yes,
catch them.
that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
There's enough space in between the drain and the rack there that you'll be all right.
Okay.
But you just don't want to because I've seen it happen, a bio bag get sucked down in that drain and melt, and then you're buying a new screen. So, anyway, I'll back up here so you see this from the beginning. When you initially turn it on, it'll go through a boot up and an initialization. Let's go ahead and do it. We didn't give it enough time. We'll talk about all the noise that it's making at the very end. It does this boot up and auto test initialization for about a minute. And then it's going to give you an acknowledgement that there was a power failure. So say you had a cycle in here and you left and you came back and you noticed that it says power failure, please acknowledge. So that tells you you had a power outage during cycle while you were gone. You continue to rerun your load. Wait for it to initialize. Loads the program.
Or I got one more there, so. Got the little circle. Chart.
It's the same.
Interruption, press here to continue. So I'll let you know that there was a power interrupted while you were gone. This gives you time, just a reminder, wait for your jacket to come up. As soon as your jacket's up, you can hit acknowledge, we're good, we're ready. Now this is your main screen. You have two cycles. You have a gravity and a liquid. The difference between the two is the exhaust rates. Gravity at the very end will exhaust quickly, fastly, get it out there. You can do a dry time. The dry will go into a vacuum. That time is settable, so if you select gravity. You have temperature, time, which is your sterilized time, and dry. So I have it set for 250 degrees for 15-minute sterilized time and a 4-minute dry. You want it lower, press the down button. Want it higher, press the up button. Pretty simple.
What does your chamber go up to? What pressure do you have on that?
The pressure here, well, the pressure is decided by your temperature. So if you wanted to run 200 so it'll let you go up to 270. So, and then you try to run it. Well, I need 32 to 34 pounds to do it. But the pressure regulator is only going to give me 24. So I can't get that temp. The jacket will always be the same to 2 pounds above whatever we need in the chamber. In our elevation, we need about 18 to 20 at 250 degrees in the chamber. Okay? And so, like I say, you're probably just going to leave this at 250. The machine has some built-in, even though we set it for 250, it's going to run 252 to 253. Always want a little bit of cushion there to make sure we get a good kill and whatever's in it. So here we are, the door's open, it blinks, door 1 open. Obviously it's not going to start and run a cycle, okay? It even tells us door's not shut, shut door and restart. So we shut the door, we're going here, we're watching the thing, and I hear it click and it goes off, and it, it must be ready to run, right? This door is not tightened enough to run. You have no sterilizers, right? The switch is made, but it's not tight. So continue to tighten it until you feel that's pretty snug. Don't heam at it, but tight. The tighter you do it, you'll shorten the lifespan of that door gasket. But we need it tight enough to seal. So now it would be ready. You go back to the gravity, and you can hit run, and it'll start. For whatever reason, during your cycle, I forgot to put something in there. I need it out quicker than it needs to be. It's in the dry. I don't need to wait for the dry. I need it out. I need to use it. Just hit the abort. It'll go through the process of abort and beep at you when the door's open. Just a reminder, don't ever try to open the door even though there is a locking mechanism if you're greater than 0 on the chamber gauge. If the door is open at any time and this is different than 0, there is an adjustment, just a flathead, re-zero it. You want this to work. And then at the very end of a gravity cycle, because it does pull vacuums during that dry time, it will say it's done even though there's still a vacuum. It's okay to open the door under a vacuum. Okay? It actually is easier to pull it in, and it's got some of the pressure off the locking bars, so it's easier to open it. So you can open it while it's under the vacuum. you sit and let it sit for a minute, and as the pressure gets up to about 5 inches, you'll hear it go, it'll suck all the air in and the door will unseal and open it. Just don't open it if there's pressure. Common sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's, you know, you guys have run sterilizers, it's really easy. I like it because of its simplicity. But now to get to some of the things that's kind of unique. If for any reason, this is the electricity to the boiler. This is not the electricity to the machine. Okay? We have two different voltages to the machine. We have control voltage and then we have boiler heat voltage. Don't ever, ever, ever turn this on while the machine is on. If for whatever reason you have to turn this off, turn the machine off. You want to find out what happens? Been there, done that. The contactor is energized and you run 480 through it, it sounded like a stick of dynamite going off. And that contactor went into pieces. So don't do it, okay? Been there, done that, trust me. So, we're on, turn the machine on, go through all the process. Now, this is the important part. At the end of the day, you're done with the machine. You're going to leave it on, you're going to turn it off.
Turn it off.
Okay. If you turn it off, one is it lengthens the lifespan of the machine. It's not sitting here hot and working while you're not using it. Two, if it has a failure and the valve sticks and it's blowing steam out of the safety valve, I mean, that's what it's supposed to do if it overpressurizes. Well, what's it going to do to your room? It'll be nice sun when you come in the morning. Set the fire alarm off. So anyway, we'll turn the power off. Now what you're going to hear when we turn the power off is an automatic boiler blowdown system. Automatically opens the drain of the boiler. Check valve is everything goes down the drain. It's a mechanically operated water cooling system. You don't need any power to make sure what's going down the drain is cool. If, this is the important part, if when you turn it off you don't hear this stuff happening, your boiler's not being blown down. Don't fix that or call me or consolidate it and avoid the warranty. I don't know if it's softened hot water. I believe it was hard water we decided to go into this machine. If you don't make sure this happens, there'll be a block of calcium and it's a pain to get this hard scale out of the boiler. I'll be cussing you and you'll be cussing me when you get the bill. And so it's nice that it has this feature. You just want to make sure you hear this noise. If you hear that button and you hear a little water going down and it doesn't sound like a lot of stuff going through it, then there's a strainer that'll plug up because it's protecting the valve that lets all this stuff out. But if you do this every day, it's going to make the life of this last a long time. If you can talk the boys, the powers that be to put our own to it, then we won't have to worry about that. But until then,
So definitely there's not here, right? No water do that.
Not the autopsy, but to that machine there.
yeah.
So I don't know, it probably wouldn't be too hard to get it over there, but I don't know if a separate line has to be done or not.
But there's plenty of places that use hard water. It's just as key to do your blowdown. Okay?
How long does it go on?
It'll go on until your boiler is empty. But it's all automatic. You turn it off, you hear this thing happening, you go home. Because the power to the boiler has been removed, it's shut down, it's just opened the drain, so it's got 40 to 60 pounds of steam that it's spinning out. And again, it's a mechanically controlled water cooling system, so we don't need to worry about it. It's going to continually keep itself cool.
And you also have the requirement for it to be cooled before it goes into the sewer anyway, so.
Now, the question is, what happens if you don't hear that noise? Call me. Yep. But if for some reason, you don't hear that noise, there's a valve in the back that you can manually open to drain the boiler. Don't ever open it when there's pressure in the boiler. Because you're standing right next to the drain and you're going to get showered with scalding water. Okay? I'll show you where that valve is. What you would do is you would let the machine cool overnight. When you come in the morning, when it's cold, open that valve, then turn the unit on. So that'll be the drain, so it'll flush for 5 minutes. It can flush that boiler with water. That might not be a bad idea to do once a month anyway. Just for whatever this gets left and anything trapped in there, we can actually do a flush for 5 minutes once a month. Wouldn't hurt. That valve is right here on the bottom back of the boiler. It's the only valve back here that's closed. See that? Same green handle that our chamber was. You can hear it. You can see I'm sitting right next to it, and it wouldn't be fun. This is your main valve that is open for the automatic. That stays open. You'll see there's a secondary water valve there. Just for information, if for whatever reason you have a water leak, your main water shut-off valves are on the wall. It doesn't matter which one. There's 2 sets, one before and one after the gauges and regulators. Just
Both of them?
well, just at least do one line. You know, one. I don't care if you do all 4 valves. Just do both lines if you have a water leak, because there is 2 water sources to it. If you're not sure which one was leaking the water.
Okay, there's 2 water sources. What's the other one?
Hot water and cold water.
Oh, it's hot and cold.
Yep. The hot water feeds the boiler, so it's, you know,
Takes it long to heat
that's
up.
right. If you have a hot water, it heats a little quicker. Other than that, there really isn't anything else that you need to know.
So in other words, don't turn this thing off if this is on. Is that what you said?
Don't turn that on if
Don't
this
turn
is
it
on.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
So you would just have to turn it off with the switch. You don't
Yep.
have to like,
The switch cuts the power to the machine and the boiler.
so you
And
turn
then
it
they
off
can-
and then turn it on.
Yep. That'd be if they got to change it off for whatever, a fluid fuse, they need to service it, or you need to work on it, you want to disconnect the power. There is no way to disconnect the 120 voltage. That's right here. Would not be a bad idea to talk to folks into putting the switch there, so that you can isolate the power completely from the machine. Okay?
So since it takes a while for it to kind of shut down and get everything out, then you wouldn't recommend doing that more than once a day?
Correct.
Because I know there's, like, at least on our floor, there will be several people using it, so it'd be kind of a turn it on when it's used the first time and leave it on for the rest of the day, and then turn it off when someone leaves?
That would be best. But again, you know, if person A comes in and turns it on and thinks person B is going to use it, but B never uses it, and then it gets left on overnight.
Right, so I mean, as long as we have one person that would turn it off on their way
Right.
out, just as long as it's not someone uses it, turns it on, or turns it off when they're done, and then someone else comes to use it that same day and turns it on again, and off again.
That would be fine. It's just you're going to have to wait each time you turn it back on for it to heat back up.
Okay, I wasn't sure just because it seems like it takes a while for it to kind of shut down.
Well, the shutdown
as well.
isn't too bad. It's going to be your heat up. Because this shutdown was, what, 3-4 minutes?
Yeah,
Your heat up, you know, after it cools down, it's 30.
okay.
So,
Generally, people leave it on all day and turn it off at the end of the night.
Yep.
Just as long as, like you're saying, somebody turns it off at the end of the night.
Someone turns it off, yeah, okay.
because that turning it off is what activates the auto blowdown. Okay? Any questions, comments? There was a question earlier about maximum sterilized time. It's 99 minutes. And it went up to 1. But I noticed if you kept pressing 1, it kept stepping. But when you came down, you had to come down as many times as you pressed it, come back to 99. So don't go more than 99. That's the max. There are some other things. If you notice you're getting some boil over, there's some manual valves that we can adjust to make sure that cool down rate is slower. I know a lot of people, they want it out as fast as they can without getting any boil over. But sometimes that's hard to reach. And that also is dependent upon what product you have in there. Now another feature that is on this machine is on the liquid cycle, as it cools down, it turns the jacket off as well. So you'll notice the jacket pressure come down as well as the chamber pressure will come down. That will reset and the jacket will repressurize after you open the door. So if you come and you're like, oh geez, it's on, my cycle's complete, why don't I have any pressure? We'll just open the door, it'll come back. The boiler's still hot and it's ready to go, it just turns the jacket off. So that if you have water sitting in there, you don't have an oven then sitting there,
And
or media or whatever.
That's just with the liquid cycle?
Just the liquid cycle, yes.
Now, when you turn this thing off, you have this door shut. Is that proper procedure or something, or what?
No, it was just, it could go either way, it's just, there's something in here I need to check and see why it's doing that. Steam was coming back up from the drain. Yeah. But again, if you notice, when I hit the button, a lot of steam was coming in the door. Well, use some common sense, shut the door, and then, hey, that's not right, call Consolidated or myself. And, but again, during the first year of Consolidated, they want you to go through them for the warranty. If you call me, I'm going to ask you, did you call Consolidated?
Oh, so we want to.
Insurance will be the one working on it, it's just covered
Through Consolidated.
through Consolidated under the warranty, so. And I'll leave my contact information too. I'm sales portion of it, but always keep me in the loop just to make sure that you guys are, somebody at Consolidated isn't dropping the ball and getting the information to Travis that he needs.
Yep. Like I say, my cell phone's with me all the time unless I'm sleeping. So I don't mind answering questions, and that saves a lot of time and headache and frustration on everybody's part. So feel free. Because there are some things that you might need to get to back here, I'm going to attach the top portion of the panels with screws, but the bottom portion I'm going to leave those screws out, so if you need to get to those you can take them off. The front panel just has knurled, so you can take these off by hand. Just slips down on the bottom, and then most of the time you guys probably won't even be in there, but if you need to get in there, you want to see that gauge, you want to get to that manual chamber drain valve, you want to get to the manual boiler valve. It's nice to have those panels accessible to you. This is the normal sound in the morning. The water pump will come on and fill up. You'll hear a thump. That means the contactor's pulled in. They all make noises you get kind of used to, and I'll ask you, well, hey, did you notice that thunk after a couple minutes? Then if you have a problem, then I know, hey, I've got a problem with the boiler, not seeing the water level, or whatever. You had a question?
Well, just near the beginning, you had turned that one switch to try and, when you had aborted the cycle, you had...
Drain, there was a chamber, manual drain.
Yes. Does that have to go back up right after you...
That was only because I had aborted a cycle and was needing to vent the chamber.
Right.
On a normal basis, you would not do that.
Right. But if you do that, then it needs to go...
Once you get the door open, put it back.
When you get the door open.
Right.
Okay.
But if you leave it open and try to start another cycle, you wonder, well, why am I never heating up?
Right.
Because it's just dumping the steam down the drain.
Correct.
Now, when you abort it, you always use to turn that?
No, that was only to hurry up for training purposes and to show you that it was...
Normally, you want to use that.
Right. Again, you get the 2 acknowledgements, there it is. There are some settings that aren't user settable. Currently, I have it set for a 2-minute purge, so that when you start a cycle for 2 minutes, steam in, steam out. I just want to get as much of the air that's in that chamber out, called a purge. We can make it 60 seconds, we can make it 5 minutes. I typically, on this size of chamber, I like 2 minutes. The cool down time on a liquid cycle is not settable other than in the service mode. So on a liquid cycle, you sterilize for 30 minutes. At the end of that 30 minutes, it begins to exhaust. That exhaust rate is set via some valves. So if you get boiled over again, let me know, and we can adjust those valves. Once it gets down to 0, there begins a cool down time. So your product will sit in there, and it's set for right now 10 minutes, and then you can open the door and take it out. Just again to try to help it get cool, so if you took it out and splashed it on you, it's not scalding, it's going to last.
Now, this purge time, you have that automatically set, we don't have to do anything with it.
Right. It's 2 minutes. If you want to change it, let me know, we can change it. If you don't like that 10-minute cool down period, we can change that. It will let you open the door during that 10 minutes because there's no pressure, so you can open the door, take it out, and ignore that. But it's there for safety purposes.
I have something, if I were to take it out, less than 2 minutes, it would boil over all over.
Right. That's why we have a 10-minute cool down period. The only other safety thing I can think of is during the gravity, during the dry, because it goes into a vacuum, if you have anything in there that shouldn't be under a vacuum, change your dry time to 0. More for on a surgery side, for like their batteries, for their surgical drills and stuff, those can't go underneath vacuum. I don't know if you have anything that you'd ever put in there that shouldn't be under vacuum, but just be aware of, if you do, just change your dry time to 0, because the dry phase is in a vacuum state. You don't have any other questions, other than it's all clear as mud, and as soon as you go
We'll probably
use
have
it,
questions as we go along.
yep, call me, call him.
Yep.
He's got the slush account, he come empty.
Oh,
My name is Jay Davis, I'm with ISEC, and we're going to be talking right now about the Accessory Tables. It's by Mortec. Basically our stainless steel, 316 stainless steel versus 304, so they're pretty resistant to corrosiveness. These all come out. You got your water here, hot and cold water. What we have, if you want to work your way over here, you just look down here. You got your garbage disposal down here, or your disposal right here. This has the switch for it is right here under the waterproof outlet here. You can turn this on. There is water to the disposal without needing to use it out of the gooseneck there. So I can turn this on. Water does feed into there, again, without needing it. You also have the option of the handheld, which you can turn it on, right there. There you go, extra water. There, it hangs right there. What we have is there's 2 different circuits. You got your here's your outlets right here, your duplex, and this has a GFCI. So this can reset. Your disposal will still work because these are on 2 different circuits. So if you have something plugged into here, something shorts out, you can reset it, reset the GFCI. If you have a problem with your disposal and it locks up on you, you got a reset down here. This red reset is your reset for the disposal. So let's just say that something jams in the disposal. You can come over here, just as a good practice, you turn this off, clear anything out in the disposal. Once it's clear, come back here, hit the reset, come back here, turn the disposal on. That's kind of the feature of the disposal. In here, there's also a constant draw down draft into the table. So there's always air going down into here. You simply lift this up. What you have is it's kind of it's a double cone, they call it. That's the drain right there. That's not where the vent's going. So what air does, and maybe I can give you a better view.
for the dogs. And
Right here is you have this is the double cone. And so the smaller cone is what you can kind of see up here. The bigger cone kind of comes out. So air will come down into, the air will come down into here. It'll come up, over, and then through the venting that you see out here. This whole pedestal acts as a plenum for the air. So it's all getting sucked down there constantly. There's a constant draw. There's a thimble up there that'll allow for the airflow.
That's tight.
That is how that all works out. This grate, this perforated grate, as you can see when it's right here, it's not going to let a whole bunch of bigger items get down into there. And even if it does get past, you got a what is that, 1 3/8 maybe hole there, so nothing bigger will be able to get down there.
Is there a hold system on that fluid?
I'm sorry?
Is there a hold system, a cistern for this fluid coming out of this table or going into the general sewer?
You know what, I personally do not know that. I can find out, Jim, if maybe you have any insight on that.
I don't.
It's something we can find out for you though.
Like the old showers, and we're supposed to have any drain off, or you're supposed to sop that water up.
It might go into the acid, there's an acid,
Wastewater.
yeah, there's an acid tank. But I don't know.
So, and one thing to make sure is that this, the disposal on here is it's not really a bone crusher, if you will. So things will get jammed up. Other than that, the maintenance on this, being that it's stainless steel, for the most part, warm water to wash it down. You can use some mild detergents. You can, for maybe some tough stains, you could use maybe some denatured alcohol or something. You don't want to use like mineral spirits or anything like that. But for the most part, just mild detergent and hot water. That's the basics of the table. Any questions? I'm Jay Davis, and with ISEC, we're going to talk about the procedure lights here. They're from Burton. What you have here is the on-off switch right here. They, as you can see, the function from side to side, up and down. You can tighten it up if you want. You've got this handle right here. You can actually, just turning it, just kind of will face the bulbs out or in, depending on how you'd like that to work. This handle actually comes off if you wanted to clean it or sterilize it. This button right here, just push that in and pull this out. There are directions on how you could put this through a sterilizer. It tells you the temperature, if you want to put this in an autoclave or hand washing it or whatever is recommended by the end user. Putting it back in, so just again to push this in, twist it until you hear that click, and you're done right there. Let's see, as far as maintenance, you could, they recommend, and there's directions in here, but every maybe 100 hours of usage, what you may want to do is unscrew these right here. You can take this off, just kind of blow in there, get some of that dust out of there. There is a fan in here, so you're gonna get some of that little bit of buildup in there. So you can get that cleaned out. That's how you also change the light bulbs. If the bulbs do go out, it's a 12 volt, 50 watt bulb. Let's see, the fuses right back in here. If you remove the power, you can pull these out. It's easier to get to it. Here's your fuses right there. Back in. They also recommend periodically, and again, it'll tell you, maybe, once a year, you go ahead and check some of these set screws if they're loose, just to see if everything's still got their function and their pivot points. If anything's hard, you may want to have a service call. But that's the basic gist.
Do they come with a wrench? Set screw?
No, they don't.
Okay.
It's just a standard Allen wrench, isn't it?
It should be, yeah. We can, as part of the literature, I suppose we can get you some of the sizes. And that can be sometimes a pain when we get the group combo. We always can fit in there. Washing it, again, it's, for the most part, you could clean it with water and mild detergent. Again, don't use mineral spirits. You could use some denatured alcohol. And we just talked about the wall-mounted one. Here's the ceiling-mounted. The only difference is first of all, right here you have your on-off switches down here, and up top you'll see the looks like we've got a set screw right here. This will bring this down. You can bring down this little housing here. That's where your fuse is going to be, in case anything needs to be changed out there. Other than that, same basic plan. My name is Jay Davis. I'm with ISEC, and we're talking about the autopsy tables. Again, from Mortec. What you have is you have 3 movable perforated grates. They've got the big holes here for your fingers to pop off. Within here, you've got this middle one. There's a drain right down in there. That's the drain for fluids. Similar to the necropsy tables, it's a double cone system where the air, there's a constant draw coming down in here, and the air will go down. It'll pull up and over the cone that traps the fluids, and it'll go down, and it's all downdrafted. Put these back on. Over here is your the drain going to the disposal, which is down here. If you come around over here, we have the controls. Under this cover is your switch for the disposal. Again, the disposal is hooked up with water. It can run without needing to spray water into the disposal. So you can turn that on. The disposal, again, is not a bone crusher. It's not meant to crush up bones. So keeping any of the hard stuff out of the drain would be obviously preferable. Right here we have a outlet here. This is a GFCI right here. If it trips, you got a reset button right there. These are 2 different circuits. This can trip and your disposal will still work. Your disposal can trip and your outlet will still work. If your disposal does get bound up and stopped, it has its own reset right here. So in the event that things do stop, you'd come over here flip the switch down. You can clean out the disposal, make sure it's not stuck anymore, make sure it's going around. Then you could go down here, push the reset button, come over here, flip your switch. If water's needed, here's a handheld. You got your, turn it on. There you go. There's your water. There's a lock on it if you want to keep it running. So that. Just making sure the water's off. There it is. Coming around the other side is where the access is underneath the table, and basically this whole pedestal part acts as the plenum for all the air going down into the unit. If you pull this off, pry it open a little bit. This is what's pulling all your air right here. And this is where you would do any maintenance that needs to be done. You got your electrical, you got your water, you got your drain. I took these off previously. It's just using a Phillips screwdriver to take off 4 screws to get this panel off. Just put it back on. And you can see that it's pulling the air down. And again, it's a constant pull on the air. Any questions? We've gone over the cleaning procedures. We want to do that on this as well?
Yeah.
So as far as cleaning, it is stainless steel. The best thing to use, and mostly you could use warm water and if needed a mild detergent. You don't want to use anything like mineral spirits or anything. If you need something a little bit more powerful than a mild detergent, you could use some denatured alcohol, some rubbing alcohol. With stainless steel, you don't want to use steel wool. And it is 3/16 stainless steel, so it is a little more corrosion resistant. But it is best not to have solvents sitting on stainless steel or puddles of water. So stainless steel, you cannot over clean stainless steel. You can clean it every day. It will make it last longer, and don't ever worry about it. If you're using the right things, you can wipe it down all day, every day, multiple times. So you'll never go through the finish. That's it. Any questions?